Fears are made for facing, and love is made for giving. Well, hard times are for taking, but the good times will come along. Your family's there to help you out, your friends for leaning on. And when it's time for you to cross over, will you be satisfied? When it's time, you can't take nothing with you but what you've got inside. Hills are made for climbing, holes are made to fill. Shoes are made for wearing out, so don't give up until the clock is made for ticking, the body is made to die. A song is made for singing, and a soul is made to fly. So when it's time for you to cross over, will you be satisfied? When it's time, you can't take nothing with you but what you've got inside. When it's time for you to cross over, will you be satisfied? 'Cause when it's time, you can't take nothing with you but what you've got inside. What you've got inside. What you've got inside. That's a sobering little tune now, isn't it? A couple of years ago, I was going through songs to record a CD that I have back there. We Are All One Human Family, and I was looking for songs I wanted to do. This is my first music CD that it has all songs that I can play at Unity's. Every song on there. So I've been writing songs for a long time, and so I wondered if there was anything I had written a while back and that might work, you know. So many things work here at Unity. So I went through my filing cabinet and I came across this song and I thought, well, this is really good. It talks about living your dreams, and it asks this big question: are you going to be satisfied? You know, are you ready? And so I recorded it and I played it a couple of times, and somebody came up to me one night and said, "Man, that song is just so drag. It's so sad." So I stuck it in my file cabinet. I didn't even have it in my book. I haven't even had it with me. And it's been really close to 2 years now. And I was in Jacksonville last weekend at the Unity Church for Creative Living, St. John's, somebody came up to me while I was standing at the merch table and said, "Man, that song, What You Got Inside, that's on your CD, I just play that all day, every day. I just put it on repeat. It's so awesome." And I thought, well, shucks, I can't play it for you because I can't even remember it. I know what you're talking about, but I don't have the lyrics with me and I don't know them. But he said, that's a really great song. And I said, well, somebody told me it was a drag. And he said, no, it's not a drag at all. It's great. It's right to the point. So I went home and I went digging through the file cabinet and I found the song yet again and decided I'd play it for you to hear this morning. And it really is in line with what we teach here at Unity. Dreams are for living. Dreams are for doing. Life is for living. Love is made for giving. Shoes are made for wearing out. Right? And that's what we do here. We wear out our shoes. So I want to thank Reverend Dale and the staff here at Unity of Savannah and all of you for having me here today. Ever since I came to Unity, it's just like this big door has just opened up before me, and it's about time. God, it's really, okay? Man. So I'm studying to be a licensed Unity teacher, and once I become a licensed Unity teacher, I have the intention of going into the field licensing program, just like Reverend Dale did, and working in a church and becoming an ordained, licensed, official, stamp, tag, title, Unity minister. Anointed, appointed, that's it. That's it. Anything you can get, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it all. So I'm getting ready to go to Unity Village again in October. And last year, I went out in July. So you go out there for a week and you take 4 classes while you're there. And this story I told at Canuga last week, and I've been telling this story that happened to me in one of my classes. After lunch every day, my 2 classes, the first class was with Reverend Tom Thorpe, and the second class was with Reverend Paul Hesselbeck, who wrote the Heart-Shaped Metaphysics book. And, so I'm with these 2 guys that, I'm getting a dose of the real thing. This is real Unity stuff right here. I'm at Unity Village, and I'm in the classroom, and these are the dudes here. And so Reverend Tom, Paul is an amazing man, and I love Paul, and his class was a lot of fun and was amazing. But I had this experience with Reverend Tom last July. I think it was on the second day of classes, and we came in and we sat down. And the day before, keep in mind now, we're at Unity Village, and we're kind of locked away. We're not locked away, but we're in school all week. You know, we're not sitting around watching the news, and we're not at work and everything. So the day before, this airline, the Malaysian airline, had gone down, had disappeared. Everybody remember when this airplane had just disappeared? Well, initially, all the news reports that we saw were, we don't know who did it, but we know somebody did it. Nobody's taken responsibility for it yet, but we speculate that it was this group or it was that group. So this is just the very next day after it had happened, and we thought, based on all the speculation and news stories at the time, that it had been a terrorist attack. Somebody had shot down the plane. So the girl beside me said, Reverend Tom, could you please pray for these victims and their families that were on the plane? Can you say a prayer about this incident that happened yesterday? And he said, of course, I'd be happy to. I'd love to. Of course, I'm sitting there thinking, why are you doing this to this guy? I mean, this has got to be, let's just get on with class. I mean, what's he supposed to say, right? I mean, so Tom said, of course, I would be happy to. And he leaned forward and he took us into this prayer, into this state of consciousness in this prayer, affirming that God is everywhere. There's nowhere that God isn't. There's no place that God isn't. There's nobody that God isn't in. He spoke during his prayer about the victims on the plane. He spoke during his prayer about their families. He spoke during his prayer about at the time, the alleged terrorists. He spoke about the bad guy, okay? And he spoke to us about their families. And he spoke to us about where they were and how they were raised and what their life situations were. And he spoke to us about how everybody, everywhere in the world, has a reason for everything that they do. And he somehow, by the time he got to the end of this thing, had us just loving the good guys and the bad guys and everybody in between, and it was just amazing. So I describe it, if you've ever been around a really big owl, and the owl takes off in flight, and you feel those little flaps of wind in the air, there's just something going on. That's what it was like in the room while Tom was doing this prayer. And when he got finished, there wasn't a dry eye in the place. And Tom said, and so it is, amen. And then all of a sudden I hear him say, that Matthew, he was just a drama queen. And it was a class on the Gospels, and he went right back into class. He just said, okay, and so it is, amen, and bam, and just left us all way back there behind. But he did point out the interesting fact that Matthew was, in fact, a drama queen. Every time anything happens, Matthew says, and then there was a great quake. The ground shook. So Matthew and I have a lot in common, actually. But we're getting better. We're getting better. So after class, and I mean really, me and the girl that were back there, I mean, we were snotting and crying. And it was bad. It was bad. He had us. If you've ever been in a situation like where somebody just takes your cork out and you're pouring all over the place, this is what it was. And so after the class, I walked up to Reverend Tom, and I started saying, blah, 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 blah. And just as I was getting ready to get down on the ground and start kissing his feet, he put his hand up, and he said, well, now hang on, hold on, don't do this, no, don't do this. And I said, but that was just so amazing. And he said, yeah, but the same thing that's in me is in you. The same thing that's in me is in you. He said, all you need is a little practice. You can do this too. The same thing that's in Reverend Tom Thorpe is in Reverend Tom Shiver, is in Reverend Dale Worley, is in John, who runs the sound for us and does such a wonderful job. The same thing that's in us is in the bad guys. It's in everybody. It's everywhere. All the time. And that just completely threw me for a big loop. Because what we're doing here at Unity is we're coming into a state of consciousness, a higher state of consciousness, where we're understanding that yeah, when I'm in presence, when I'm here, when I'm in this moment, right now, when I am in absolute presence, I am in what Charles Fillmore would refer to as Christ consciousness. When I'm here in the present moment, I am plugged in, electrified, Christ consciousness. That's when I'm connected to. You ever notice how you can when you're connected, you can always see other people who are connected? It's really neat. We're all connected. And a lot of people use the example that God is the ocean and we're all waves. So I say, well, okay, so we're on Tybee, and I hand you a glass, and I say, could you please go out there and bring me a glass of ocean water? Which wave do you go to exactly? Which one? It doesn't matter what wave you go to. You go anywhere in the ocean with that cup, and you can bring me back ocean water. So it's everywhere. God is us. We are God. God is expressing as us. All these dreams that the song talked about, dreams are made for doing. All these dreams are God. All these dreams that we have are God. All these things that we want are God. It's all God. You're good. You're good. Right? You're good. Everybody's just trying to get to God. Everybody's trying to get to God. Even the terrorists, even the bad guys, man, they are trying to get to God. That's the best thing they got in them. That's the deal. Charles Fillmore said, let us forget all that has pressed itself upon us. Let us forget all that has pressed itself upon us to make us sometimes feel that God the good is not at all. Let's just forget all that stuff and move into this higher state of consciousness where we see. Because everything in the universe has a purpose and a meaning. You know what hell is? You know what my definition of hell is today? It's a life with no meaning. And when I came to Unity, it's 5 or 6 years ago, man, I was in hell. I had completely gotten disheveled and off the road and had lost all the meaning in my life. And we all lose meaning in our lives sometimes. It's crazy. Sometimes you get what you want and it's great and it's wonderful, and then a couple of years later you're kind of like, well, I've done this already. And then a couple of years later you're going, well, at one time this is what I would have given my left leg for, and now I got it and I give my right leg to get rid of it. Right? This is a process. It's a process. It's a process. Reverend Dale, we're sitting out in the backyard, we're having a cigar, he's been ordained, he looks at me and he goes, now what next? Well, yeah.
You're supposed to tail down.
You said it was Kyle Day. You said I do whatever I want. It's what is next, you know? So we go through times where we have meaning in our lives, where we're accomplishing the intentions, but then what happens then? You know, where do we go now? And we have to have meaning in our lives. We have to have purpose in our lives. And in order to find the meaning and the purpose in my life, I had to come to the understanding that there is a purpose for my life. I am not here by mistake. There is something for me to do here. What is it? And how do I find it? And when I find it, then how do I do it? If I'm here, and if there's a purpose, if there's a reason for me being here, if I'm supposed to do something here, then I know that the possibility of me actually doing it exists, right? The way is there, right? And that is what my book is all about. I wrote the book in an effort to help myself grow, to help myself find the answers that I needed, because I want to have a stronger relationship with God so that I can stand in front of you this morning and be in absolute presence and smile. Right? Because I want to do what I'm here to do. We all want to do what we're here to do. That's what the book is all about. And today in the workshop, we're going to go through things. We're going to talk about things. I didn't mean to get so serious on you all of a sudden. It happens sometimes. So today in the workshop, we're going to talk about a technique. The book is all about a technique. And what I want to say to you is that there's a reason why you're alive. There's a reason why you're in the body. There's a reason why you're in the body, in the chair, in the room, here. There's a reason for everything in the world. There's no mistakes going on anywhere in the world. And there's a way for you to find out what these reasons are and how to do what you want to do. And all I want to do is do that in my life and help you do that in your life. So I haven't met anybody, and the coolest thing about it is I haven't met anybody yet that says they don't have any puzzles. So I figure I can sell everybody a book. I haven't met anybody that says, no, I don't have a puzzle in my life. So let's take this consciousness into prayer. I invite you now to join together. Move into the spiritual eye, to the forehead, to the crown of your head. Raise the energy. Take a deep breath. God is all, and all is God. We raise our awareness to God. We feel God all around us. We feel God moving through us. We feel God as us, expressing as us. We know all things in the universe have a purpose and a meaning. We know that God is in every single person, excluding no one. Jesus said, I and thy Father are one, and you are as I. Excluding no one. God's everywhere. Knowing that we have purpose, knowing that we have meaning, knowing that we can find and discover our purpose and our meaning, we're going to release this prayer into the ether in great joy and smile. I invite you to smile and enjoy. We say, as it is so. Amen. Thank you.
And Kyle Shiver, y'all. We're so grateful that Kyle is our music director here at Unity of Savannah. He's working on becoming a licensed and ordained minister, so I invite you to hold that vision with us. And while we were at Canuga a couple of weeks ago, we did this song, and I thought the roof was going to come off the place, so hang on. It's Kyle's theme song.
gotta chop that wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well runs dry. Chop that wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well runs dry. Mama told me to be careful what you do, 'cause everything you do is coming back to you. Mama told me if you want good friends, all you gotta do is be a good friend. You gotta chop that wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well runs dry. Chop that wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well runs dry. I had a mule to plow this dirt. You only reap what you sow, and it's a world full of hurt. When I die, all I want to say, you chop wood and clear water every day. That wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well runs dry. Chop that wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well runs dry. Die, all I want them to say, chop wood and carry water every day. When I die, all I want them to say, chop wood and carry water every day. When I die, all I want them to say, chop wood and carry water every day. When I die, all I want them to say, chop wood and carry water every day. You gotta chop that wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well runs dry. Chop that wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well runs dry. Chop that wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well runs dry. Chop that wood, bury that water, bury that water till the well.
God is good, and all the time, God is